Hi viewers, let us see the CTFT of a signum function. X of t is equal to plus 1 over the positive time interval, and it will have a value of amplitude of minus 1 over the negative time interval. The graph is shown here on the screen itself. Signum function, for the purpose of analysis, it is viewed as a function of two one-sided exponential signals. With the limiting factor a tends to become 0. Sgn of t is equal to limit a tends to become 0 e power minus at u of t minus e power at u of minus t is the expression that we have taken for our analysis. So Sgn of t will be hereafter viewed as a combination of two one-sided exponential signals. For this signal, when we want to calculate the Fourier transform, according to the Fourier transform formula, x of j omega will be equal to CTFT of the signal, which is to be transformed into Fourier domain. Actually, according to the formula, x of t is to be projected on e power minus j omega t, and the area under this projection is to be calculated by integration minus infinity to plus infinity x of t e power minus j omega t dt. So in this formula, when the substitution in the place of x of t is made, this formula will be modified as limit a tends to become 0 e power minus at u of t minus e power at u of minus t into, according to the formula, e power minus j omega t dt will be present. So this entire expression is in the place of x of t, e power minus j omega t dt. If this is clear to you, then we shall proceed with the next step of rearrangement of this integration into two parts. Limit a tends to become 0. This will be decomposed into two integrations. One is over the positive time integral, e power minus at e power minus st dt. The other one will be over the negative time integral, where the integration limits will be from minus infinity to 0, where the signal is treated to be e power at u of minus t e power minus j omega t dt. Since we are working with Fourier transform, it is essential that we have to write e power minus j omega t, right? If this step is clear to you, then we shall proceed with the condition limit a tends to become 0, limiting condition. Taking a limit a tends to become 0, you could just proceed with this, integrate it, substitute upper and lower limits individually. So e power minus can be taken as a common factor, so it will become a plus j omega into t divided by minus of a plus j omega, where the lower limit is 0, upper limit is infinity. As far as the second integration is concerned, it will become e power, you can notice that it is simply a minus j omega if they are combined into t divided by a minus j omega, where the lower limit for t will be minus infinity and upper limit will be 0. These two are the results. Along with the limiting condition, limit a tends to become 0. Now you have to substitute upper limit in the place of t and minus lower limit for each term. So this will become e power minus infinity divided by minus of a plus j omega is the first term by substitution, upon substitution of upper limit. The second one will become by substituting t is equal to 0 lower limit. The same expression will become a plus j omega minus a plus j omega. Already a minus is present. Now you have to take the second term, substitute the upper limit. So e power 0 divided by a minus j omega minus into minus, so it will become plus e power minus infinity divided by a minus j omega. There would be 4 terms present after substitution of upper and lower limits in each term. this is x of j omega. It has not yet been simplified, so let me move on to the simplification part. X of j omega is equal to limit a tends to become 0 when we take the e power minus infinity as, what is e power minus infinity as, can you find out what is e power minus infinity? E power minus infinity is equal to 0, so the first term will become 0 completely. The second term will be e power 0. What is e power 0? E power 0 is 1 divided by minus of a plus j omega, right? Already minus is present, the third term will become e power 0. So e power 0, 1 divided by a minus j omega. The fourth term will be e power minus infinity, which is equal to 0. So obviously we will land up with only two effective terms here in the final result. It is 1 divided by a plus j omega. The second one will be 1 divided by 1 minus a j omega. Upon taking LCM, lower limit, upper limit, all those things. Before proceeding with such simplifications, let us substitute a tends to become 0 in this as a condition into this expression. So this will become 1 by j omega minus 1 by minus j omega. So this will become 1 by j omega plus 1 by j omega. This is equal to 2 divided by j omega. So SGN of t, the Fourier transform, if the input is Fourier transform, signum of t, corresponding Fourier transform x of j omega will be equal to simply 2 divided by j omega. 2 divided by j omega. You have to apply the absolute modulus to take the magnitude of it, and you have to find out the phase component of it. So if x of t is SGN of t, then the corresponding Fourier transform representation of SGN of t is 2 divided by j omega. 2 divided by j omega. So the effective information that I wanted to convey here is, when you take a signal with plus 1 as an amplitude over positive time integral, so time duration, and over negative time duration it is minus 1. If this is SGN of t, obviously the result will be, the resultant Fourier transform will be is shape, will be of this shape like this. Just look at the graph. So this is modulus of x of j omega. How to obtain modulus of x of j omega? You have to take x of j omega and multiply it with x asterisk of j omega, take square, multiply both and obtain the square root of it. That will give me modulus of x of j omega. X of j omega is equal to 2 divided by j omega. What is x asterisk of j omega? Calculate it and multiply the spectrum of signum function multiplied by the conjugate of the spectrum. Take square root. Upon taking the square root, you will find out the magnitude of it. Thank you.